I think that's what's going to happen in
Maybe the
this,
boy was
allegedly,
the
like
Iron
with
Lad.
Wanda. But Kang is black.
I don't know. It's time travel.
What?
What do you mean? All right, hello. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of another relaunch. We are your hosts. I am Cora of the Burning Heart.
Oh, okay. And I am Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man. When welcome
That's
to another relaunch.
that's very expected for you this week in particular. We'll get into that. How
Absolutely.
are you?
I am great. It's been a wild week, and I know I use that
Okay.
word a lot.
Yes.
But like it's been wild. Like
No, I agree with that. I think there's been
it's been
something.
wild.
I actually tweeted this. I actually think it was the beginning of Scorpio season. They somehow like opened the gates of hell, and there's just like a very evil energy that is coursing through the earth right now because things have been very weird and very bad, and I don't like it, and I blame
It's
you.
been so wild. Like I've like work was crazy all week, and then outside of that, like celebrity gossip is disappointing to pay attention to because everybody don't act like they are being. No one's
Everybody
serious.
turn the cameras on, flick the switch.
Please turn them on.
Something
Please
gotta
turn
give.
them
Something
on.
gotta change. It's bad out here for us. These are the people who
So
you like grew up on loving, and it's like, oh, you're not a good person actually.
no, no, not at all. And it's tainting their products, and I don't want that. So it's been a wild week. How
Mhm.
about you?
It has also been a wild week, but we are pushing through. It has been unseasonably warm, and we are in November, and I think it was like 80 degrees yesterday here in
Oh,
DC. Yeah,
that was
and
hotter
so
there than here.
yeah, so everyone's been out in their shorts and t-shirts. So I don't know. That's Earth.
It is, and Mother Earth is crying out.
Okay, like please recycle, I guess.
Help me. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started and get into the updates of the week. First up, we're going to be talking about some Blade plot rumors. Now, again, these are just rumors, y'all, but I wanted to
Mhm.
share this and see what y'all thought. So we know that like the most recent director kind of left, and now they're like are still
Right,
like
right.
looking for a new one. So allegedly, it was because like Mahershala and the director like didn't see eye to eye, and I think we had already reported before that the script was like only 90 pages long. So I
Mhm.
recently found out that like allegedly the script was only 90 pages long. There were only like two fight scenes, and they weren't good. And Mahershala didn't like that, and
Mhm.
the movie was going to be about like Blade's time as a vampire for like 100 years, like to the
Mm.
present. We were gonna like time jump and see him like all throughout time
Oh, that
to
doesn't
the
sound
present,
good.
as he eventually like um gets a daughter and was gonna pass over the like the Blade stuff
Title
to
to her.
her. Hmm.
You know, it's so interesting to hear something like this and think about my excitement for Blade's daughter because we all know, if you've been listening to this show long enough, that we've discussed Fallon Gray, who was announced years
Yes.
ago to get pushed as Blade's daughter. She had this really cool design. The book was written. There was like a really big fan backlash to it. A lot of people wanted the book to be written by like a black woman because this was a story about a young black girl. And as a result, the writer Tim Seeley at the time was like, you know what, you're right. And so he dropped off. And then the book just kind of went into limbo. And recently they have introduced Brielle, the new
Mm.
daughter, and the designs changed a bit. And I don't really see it for her. And so
Damn.
And now to hear about this movie that's coming out that was getting the story about like talking about Blade's daughter, and it's just like, oh, I don't think I want that anymore. I think we just need, because again, I've even talked about it here. I do a lot of back reading for Blade, and I say a lot of those stories in the day weren't good. And so I think we're now at a point where he is getting decent to really good stories written about him. And I think kind of introducing a daughter is like, okay, he hasn't really even had enough time to stand on his own. And now we got to add this other one because everything else was so like rough and far in between.
Giving him the daughter does feel very like the MCUification of Blade, because it feels like, oh, we're going to give him this daughter because she's obviously going to be set up to be his replacement in the sequel, you know, kind of like they do with a lot of this stuff with like Yelena and Kate Bishop, stuff like that, where they kind of bring in the sidekick or whatever to replace them. So that would be kind of crazy to really just jump right into that, considering, like you've said, he hasn't really had too many good solo like runs. I wonder if they're ever able to like really get it going for solo Blade. I mean, this movie was originally announced in 2019.
Yeah.
And so like,
and now we're not getting into what, 2024?
Right. And now if they end up keeping with this same kind of plot, he's going to be given a daughter. So
yeah, because like, let's be real, because even when you think about Mahershala, he's getting older, and I'm pretty sure that he's had to turn down other offers for other jobs because he's waiting on this. And it's going to get to a point with him, he's not going to keep turning down that work.
Yeah, that's checks waiting on the table. So
I don't know. It's disappointing. The way it's been handled has been annoying, especially when you look at some of these other projects that have come out, which I think, you know, in the first half of the MCU phase 4 that we're in was a little rough. So I didn't mind waiting. I think it's found its footing again, things to be getting a little bit better. But let's hope that we can stay that course. So by the time we do get it, it is good.
Yeah. Maybe Mahershala want to dip into the director's seat for this one. You know? And maybe and maybe he can like recast Blade. Like he'd be like, you know what, I'd rather be behind the scenes and we can get somebody else to do it.
I can see that. It would just make me interested to see what route they take Blade as. If they do like a younger him, or if they kind of keep him like an older, experienced person.
We'll see. I'm sure he's got some cameos coming up soon, so we will see. They've been building up that supernatural stuff, so he's coming. He should have been like, I don't know, mentioned in that Werewolf by Night. Now that I think about it, but
I thought he was gonna show up in that too. Maybe it's like a little like second after credit scene, just walk up or something like that. Again, him and Man-Thing got a relationship, so hopefully they put some of that in there.
Yeah, we'll be on the watch out for Blade. All right, our next bit of news: there have been announced 3 EA Marvel games are going to be coming, and they're going to be starting with Iron Man. Now, I was a little bit in shock by this. I didn't think that they were going to be, that Marvel games would end up partnering with EA.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Yeah. So, how are we feeling about this? Are you excited? Do you think they're going to be, allegedly, they've said that these are going to be 3 new action adventure games, and each game will have its own story, and like they'll all be kind of connected together.
Yeah. On the one hand, EA, and then on the second hand, the fact that the first game was announced as an Iron Man game, it already kind of like depletes my excitement a little bit. I won't lie to you. It's just like, oh, okay, I'm getting the 2008 Avengers all over again, or whenever that movie.
That's what I thought too.
It's just like we about to get an Iron Man game, a Captain America game, and a Thor game, or a Black game.
Widow.
I don't know. They should give her one, but I don't know if they would. But, you know, it's just kind of like, it's also been something that I've just been thinking about a lot in terms of the MCU, the DCEU, and synergy. And I think sometimes we talk about how synergy, when it's good, it does some really great things for characters that you like, especially in the comic books. But it also truly is dictating so much of what we're consuming now in our media, in terms of TV, in terms of games, in terms of even comic books. And I think about characters that a lot of people like in the books that we read, and you think about, oh, where's this character? Why haven't we seen them in a long time? And I feel like for some of them, it's just because they're waiting until they get their MCU or their DCEU push. And then again, after they get it and that moment's over, do we go however many years without seeing them ever again? Are we still kind of basing everything on this like building up from the original Avengers? So like 10 years down the line, we get another Iron Man game. I don't like Iron Man. What am I going to do?
It also feels a little late. Like, I get it. You know, Iron Man is a very popular character, especially taken off from the MCU. But like now he's gone from the MCU, and like the focus is going to shift. So like this is giving, you know, how they made the Avengers game, which was very obviously based off of the MCU roster. But like by the time the game came out, we had already moved past these characters, and there were so many more that were introduced at that point. So, I mean, I'm always going to be excited for more superhero stuff. But I don't know. I really hope that we aren't like pulling from the same stuff that we've really been getting from, 2012 since that Avengers roster.
I guess again, it really just depends on if they really want to shake the table. If you're about to give me an Iron Man game and then I don't know, you sneak in there a
X-Men?
No, I don't think they would do that just yet. I guess like a Doctor Strange game would be something new and that feels different and like you could experience that. But if you're just going to give me Iron Man, Captain America again, and Thor, and yes, maybe they haven't had their own like solo games in a very long time, but they have been at the forefront of all the other games and like media that you have put out for so long. And it's like at one point, okay, when do you just kind of stop going in this same circular mode? And I get it, it's like a thing of like the Trinity. Well, not really, because only Batman gets games. But and it makes a big deal when a Wonder Woman game does get announced because it's like, oh wow, this has never happened before. Like, let's keep that going.
Yeah, I think sometimes they have to take chances, but I mean, nothing wrong with, I guess, going with a safe bet with the first one. You know what I mean? Like I said, Iron Man is a popular character, and it's Iron Man. His mechanics are pretty easy to put into a game compared to some of the other people who have all different kinds of powers and stuff like that. He's got different suits.
I guess. Shout out to the Iron Man fans. You won.
All right. Next up is some very special news to me, and that is the casting of Wonder Man in the upcoming Marvel series for Disney Plus. For Simon Williams will be Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. Now,
iconic. That's a win.
I mean,
congratulations.
Wow.
That's a very good gift.
Wow. If everybody's out there that have been listening, whenever I bring up Wonder Man, because I know like it's just me. So whenever I bring up Iron Man and I'm asked like, who would I want to play him, I always said Yahya. So like, what? This is so cool. Like, I normally don't even fan cast people, but I guess like we have had some people ask us to do a fan cast special thing, so we may have to do something like that a little later. Maybe one of our talks or something. We can do fan cast some of our favorite characters. But typically I don't. But like, I really just, I don't know. Whenever I thought of Wonder Man,
I remember that.
Yeah. It was like whenever I thought of Wonder Man and like currently who could play him, I just instantly think of him. He's tall, he's handsome, he's super charismatic. And I could see him with the powers and the glasses and being a part of the team and like being a superhero.
He's got the body for it.
That he does.
Looks like a superhero. And
he can also give like the whole actor thing in California. He gives in LA.
When you think about Wonder Man, if like no matter which way you take him, like if you want to go like the actor route, the guy who like everybody loves and he does like this thing, he's in these movies. Yeah. Who else you gonna get? That's literally him.
Literally.
But I also think about just like Wonder Man is the type of character where the stories are few and far in between, so you really need that star power to help sell him. And I think what bigger star power again do you have than Mr. Abdul-Mateen?
Like, hello.
And
He's got it.
he's
Got it. He's gonna look great in that safari jacket. He's gonna look great with the sleeveless costume. I think that I'm not gonna lie, I just really did win with this one. And I've said it plenty of times on this show that like my top 3 favorite characters are Polaris, Sue Storm, and Simon. And I don't know, y'all. I think Simon is now claiming his number 1 spot. He's definitely tipped Sue's crown. I do truly like.
I can see that. I think it'll be interesting. So obviously, we read comic books, and it will be interesting to see how we were just talking about synergy, how that synergy affects Wonder Man in the comic books. How often? I mean, not how often, but how quickly we get something, and then who's going to be writing it for him? Because it's just going to be like, who is anyone really pitching a Wonder Man story right now? And so it's like,
nobody
if you're not, it's like, and if you're not, is this what's going to get you to pitch it? And then it's like, or is Marvel just going to reach out to somebody and be like, hey, write this Wonder Man book and let's go from there?
Probably the latter. I do think that they're going to be like, we need a Wonder Man book out, the synergy again. Like, remember when Falcon and Winter Soldier came out? They definitely had a Falcon and Winter Soldier miniseries out just to, synergize with it. When Hawkeye was coming out, Kate Bishop had a 5-issue miniseries coming. They always are going to do stuff like that. It's truly insane that everything is dependent on that. Like, if you appear in the MCU, you got a book coming.
Like, that's crazy.
It's kind of the only thing that keeps you there. That's the only thing that I've been waiting for Wonder Man, was like, oh, I know that like when he finally appears in the MCU, then he'll at least finally start getting some content. Yeah, because the last thing he was in, I think, he was in Empire. He was like in a mini series. Yeah, he was in like a mini series, like the tie-in series with some Avengers in that.
Okay.
But that was the last thing he was like major a part of. And that was years ago now. So
yeah. I ain't read Empire. I wasn't for me.
That's fair. I got bamboozled. I thought I was gonna really enjoy it. It didn't give what I wanted it to give. But I am super, super excited to see like Yahya do.
What are you kind of hoping that
for the synergy is what I'm telling you right now. I want the synergy. Go ahead and give.
Okay.
Go ahead and give Simon Williams the MCU synergy shot, and make him black in the comics too. That's what I need. I think it'll be interesting to see if they actually go that route, because similarly to like Namor, I guess you can kind of say, they are now like getting into like bigger characters that they're starting to like race change and like change some features of characters in the MCU versus how they are in the comics. And some of them have been like brought over, like Valkyrie. They tried to like bring in a new with her. Makari, they didn't even explain that. She just like she just popped up and
they said, we know y'all don't know.
And they just kept it moving from there. They were like, this is what we're going with. But I think even those instances, or even like Heimdall, like they randomly changed him a few times. But even though I've definitely seen more recent things where he was back to being white and not looking like Idris Elba. But like, I don't know if it's an artist choice and if they get to choose that, if it's a part of the story, or
you think they do that for Wonder Man though? Is that something they could do with him? Like, I think about a character, obviously Makari, nobody was thinking about her. The Valkyries they added, and I even think about a Hawkman. He is a character who's built in like with the go that you can kill him and resurrect him as a black guy. is that something you could see them doing with Wonder Man feasibly in the story, or would it have to be a Makari situation where it just happens?
Honestly, I think it would just have to be a Makari situation where it just happens. Because he may have had very few and far in between things as far as like comics go, especially recently, but like there are hundreds of comics in the 90s, and I mean he debuted in Avengers #9. And then like there's a bunch of Avengers books that he was in, the West Coast Avengers stuff, and he's always looked as like that, like what he normally does. So I think it'll be a lot harder to kind of like kind of do that change, but I'm sure they could find a way to do it. I personally would want them to do it. But again, like I said, they are kind of getting to the point now where some changes in the MCU, people are going to be looking to see in the comics. So like Namor, he doesn't look anything like his like that in the comics. Right. He should, in my opinion. I think it would give like him and Atlantis just like a cooler look. But again, can they do that for him? Like, will he just have to pop up, or could they change the story?
Namor?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think in Namor you can get a little bit more leeway because Atlantis is. I mean, well, it's all fictional, but Atlantis is like fiction within fiction.
You don't think that would be a big departure for him to?
I mean,
look like he is now, and then to go to like Tenok?
You could be asking the wrong person too when it comes to Namor and like whatever goes on in his world. I'm like, I'm not really there.
That's fair. We'll be talking about him later, so stay tuned for that. But as far as my feelings on Wonder Man, go ahead and give him the MCU synergy shot. I love this news. I'm super excited for it. I think they recently showed that they just added to the cast, actually. He was the guy who played in Better Call Saul.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I don't know his
name. Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah.
Allegedly, he's being eyed to play someone in Wonder Man. I think he is. If he is being looked at, I think he's going to play Simon's agent. And for
I can see
people
that.
who may not know this, Simon, when he was out in LA trying to be a actor, he doesn't have a secret identity like that. People know Simon Williams is Wonder Man. So when he was out there like trying to act, he would like just tell people like, when I'm not in my suit, I'm being Simon. So like separate the two. I'm trying to act or like be an actor. And but people would know Wonder Man, and like he was kind of famous for being a superhero.
Okay.
His agent would like intentionally cause mayhem so that he would look good. Like he would like call up villains to be like, oh, Wonder Man's gonna be down here, so like go fight him so that we can get on the news and see him winning and like get more stuff.
Good PR.
He would like book him movies for stuff that like he did not want to do. He even at one point tried to like, he forced a sidekick on him because he saw the ratings that people liked heroes with sidekicks. So I think they could do some really fun stuff with this actor if he ends up actually becoming.
I have convinced myself that Dazzler is going to appear in this, so I'm excited for it.
Oh, she might, yeah.
You know, they've been putting mutants in every now and again. She is a pop star. She's a famous girl. She's been in movies. She's got an agent. I feel like they could cross paths at some point. And I always think about the House of M series where she had like her own talk show, and the scene where they were showing her guest was Simon.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that could be cute.
Actually, now that I think about it, I would not be surprised if they started dropping Dazzler, paraphernalia and stuff.
That would be hot. It would be real high.
Yeah.
And I also hope to see Vision. Brothers.
What do we need him for? He got his own thing. Vision Quest.
And he'll show up in this.
They're not related.
Crossover.
His brother's name is Eric. We don't need Vision.
I don't think Vision has an alias name.
They could be decent co-workers at best. They don't need to be brothers.
I don't know why you hate Vision so much. Because
I don't hate Vision. I just yes.
I don't know what to tell you. You're just gonna have to deal with it.
I don't
okay?
either of them. Don't need
You just
either
gotta
of them.
deal with it.
Oh, Wanda always just end up. She never even
I've
liked him.
I've
They didn't even
always
date that long.
she didn't. He just kept
That's why I
on
like him.
trying. But the Wendy fans have
He
been
wanted to
already
win. She said,
posting
"Let's
some
break up."
little
He said, "Okay."
photo manipulations of Elizabeth Olsen and Yahya together. So it's
I'm
coming.
sure. I'm sure they are like forcing her into this, but she's going to be in the Vision Quest thing over there. His brainwaves have nothing to do with Vision. So,
Wanda is like really
and
like,
is that
oh,
what y'all
this
want?
is your
Y'all
phase.
wants to take the brainwaves of black men
I
and
mean,
give it to the white man?
they already call him Vishon. You seem to make
I
period.
don't like it. No, I don't like it. So we won't be doing any of that. So they can keep that over there. Um, all right, the next bit of news, speaking of Wanda, and like magic
She's
and
always the
WandaVision and
topic
everything.
of conversation.
Joe Locke has been cast in the WandaVision spinoff Agatha of whoa, this is bad. WandaVision spinoff, Agatha Coven of Chaos. I don't know why that was bad. Yes. The show is called Agatha Coven of Chaos. And Joe Locke has been cast. He is
I
from
don't know who that
Heartstopper.
is.
I never watched
I
that
don't know
show.
what that is.
I don't know, but the streets are saying he looked like Wiccan.
He don't.
Why he don't? He do.
He don't.
I thought so.
He
He
doesn't.
looked like Wiccan.
He looks like Agatha's son, Nicholas Scratch. That's who he looks like.
Now, who the hell is that?
Wiccan is played by Julian Hillard.
Mm,
So
I don't know if he's old enough to do Wiccan. I think,
exactly. That's why
but
they're waiting. When, when's the
isn't
next time
he isn't he the made up kid, right? Not Wiccan,
they look the same?
right? Didn't want to make up some kids? They were part of the reality. They got wished away.
But the kids still exist
Where?
everywhere in the multiverse. Did you not see that Doctor Strange movie? What are you talking
Yes,
about?
they do. Yes, they do.
This little
And I'm sure
boy, whoever he is somebody related to Agatha. I'm sure.
I don't know.
That ain't no Billy Kaplan I know. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't know. I guess we'll be staying tuned and seeing who he will actually be. It hasn't been said yet, but
I don't
they
know. We'll
did,
see.
however, add Aubrey Plaza to the cast, and they did say she will be playing a villain.
I did hear that. So this is a safe space, yeah. I'm gonna be real
Yeah.
with you. I don't really see it for Aubrey Plaza like that. I know a lot of people love her. I'm
Mm.
just kind of like iffy on her, and so like everything that seems to be going on with this show right now is just kind of like I don't know. I don't think we need
It's
it.
magic. It's spells and
know what
witchcraft.
that was.
That was magic.
That is not anything I've ever heard. But Agatha, I don't know. This is another one of those things of like synergy and like getting an actor who is bigger than the character because people just like Catherine
Mm.
Hahn.
They do. They love Catherine Hahn. She was great as
She
Agatha.
was amazing. And that was like, and even so, you think about something like Midnight Suns, where Agatha Harkness is here, and you're seeing like a younger, time displaced version of her, and all this other. Like, I do not like Agatha Harkness.
Wow, MCU synergy is wild. That's really wild. They went back in time to show y'all that she looked like Catherine Hahn. Wow, put her on the
Like, this is
cover.
what I'm talking about. Like, be serious. But
Wow.
whatever, that boy's not Wiccan, so that's all I know. That's
Who
Nicholas
do you think Aubrey
Scratch.
Plaza is going to be?
Um, I don't
I
know.
have a guess.
Mephisto.
That's actually a way better guess than mine. I
She
just thought
played
she might be Morgan Le Fay.
oh, I could see that too. She
I also only know like maybe 3 magic characters, so that's the only one I got. I
they
don't know if
might
there are other
pull
villains.
they might pull, from the other universe because she was Shadow King in the Legion show.
Oh, is that? magic stuff though? Wouldn't they want to?
I mean, it's like the mind telepathy. I'm pretty sure you could do like some darkness with it.
Could you
Wanda,
imagine Wanda fighting Shadow King?
Wanda, Wanda uses telepathy
Wow.
and telekinesis a lot, so
They're
yeah.
so nasty for that. Wow. Um, I don't know. My guess is still that she might be a bad witch, so I just thought Morgan Le Fay. And I
Morgan
do.
Le Fay
They
would be
haven't said
cute.
it yet, but I do think that like Elizabeth Olsen's going to appear.
I can see that too. Morgan Le Fay
Earlier,
would.
there were rumors that the plot
I'll
for
take.
this show was going to be a, um, it was like a mix of some of Wanda's solo stuff and Young Avengers, uh, Children's Crusade.
Oh, that was a horrible story. Do not want. Yeah,
Alleged,
that.
allegedly, this show was going to be like a kind of a reverse of that. Not a reverse, actually, because in that series they were, by they I mean Wiccan and the Young Avengers. They were looking for Wanda, right?
Yeah, and she
Yeah,
had
I
left.
think that's what's
Oh,
going to happen in
maybe the
this.
boy
Allegedly,
would be
like they're
Iron
looking for
Lad.
Wanda, but Kang is black.
I don't know. It's time travel.
What?
What do you mean? Things change.
Wow. You know what? On that note, let's go ahead and take a break. Then we'll come right back.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome back for the comic section of the show. And we had a nice. So before we even get into that, my pool list is deteriorating before my eyes. So what I need people
Oh
to do
no.
is send me your pull list, what you're reading, what you think I should be reading, what you think I need to check out. Marvel, DC, Image, Boom, Dark Horse, The Crow, Valiant, all of it, any of it. Let me know. I got my little email from Comixology talking about your subscriptions for the next week. There was only one book on there.
Whoa.
And I was like,
Yeah.
hold on. And even like this was kind of like a small, it was a little bit more manageable for me, which is like a good thing. I like manageable weeks. Um, but it's just
Hmm.
like I would rather have consistent manageable weeks than like one big week with everything and then nothing for the rest of the month. You know what I'm saying? Which is like seems to be
Yeah.
happening because my pool list is getting smaller and smaller. And I just need some new things to read. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into the books of this week. We'll do some mentions. First, we had She-Hulk #7. That continues to be like a really great slice of life book. It's also starting to finally pull back on some of the plot that we got in the beginning about like Jack of Hearts and who kidnapped him and his powers and what's going on with that. And Jen, she is representing Doctor Doom in this issue, which is like really fun to get some interactions with them in there. Pick it up; it's great. If you love the show, I recommend it. Bloodstained Teeth #6 comes out, and that continues to be like a really great vampire romp in the world. Christian Ward does some of the art and story. It's fantastic. And sort of Azrael #4 also continues this. I don't know. It's something about Azrael. It's like pulling me in. Again, I love the Holy Warrior
I
aspect.
was
I
like,
love
Holy
the
Warrior.
fight. It's like hitting for me. I kind of see what the people. I don't really like the costume that much. It's still giving me Rachel Gray a little bit, but
Mm.
I'm here for everything else. And then we'll hit our main books. And first up on the list is X-Men Red #9 from Al Ewing, and we had guest artist Madibek Musibekov. And it's Al.
I like the
Yeah,
art. I really like the art.
yeah, it was like good. It reminded me a little bit of like Wonka Ball because that's what I actually thought it was at first before I like went back and double checked the name. Really cool stuff there. Like I hope to see more of this person doing more work.
Yeah, for sure.
But nonetheless, story wise, it is an Al Ewing comic, so I don't know if you want me to really talk about it because you know what I'm gonna say.
I think it was great. You know, I thought that was all Ewing comics, like the writing is fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not that interested in Araco or like the Iraqi mutants.
Yeah, you really don't see
I
it for
wish
them
this
for
was
some reason.
more. I think it's because it just gives it. For some reason, they just always feel like a gimmick, you know.
Hmm. Um,
Um,
I can see what you're saying. I do like them though. Like Cora and Zen in this issue, like I really enjoyed them. I like their designs. I kind of like the dynamic that we saw voting for them. And then when I think about them and like the dad, the Fisher King, like I think that's like, but I also like families in the mutant universe, like Braddock's, House of M, not the Summers, but like stuff like that.
you like dynasties, like families and stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So seeing them did it for me, and I really did like this whole little makeshift team that they had: Cable, Manifold, the two dolls, and Zen and Cora and Thunderbird, who I'm still kind of like iffy on as a character, but overall he fits the brand and aesthetic of what I like, so he gets a pass
This is
here.
true. That whole squad is very you. It's very on brand for you. I liked
And was
Manifold.
cool.
He's dope.
Yeah, very cool. I
I did
enjoyed a
like
lot of.
all of the like space cosmic stuff. I do have to say that like I like the Shi'ar. So I do like when they pop up. And I like all the
I,
galactic people talking about their conflicts and stuff. I had a great time with that stuff, that moment.
I don't know if I necessarily like the Shi'ar. No, I guess I
I
do.
like them.
Mm. I
I
like
love the
when
Imperial Guard. So
I like when they're there and it doesn't deal with the Phoenix.
oh yeah.
I'll say
When they're I like them
when
as a species, like when they're like doing their own like, you know,
And I
like the
obviously like
Kree and the
saying
Skrulls. I like the Shi'ar.
I like Deathbird. Shout out to Bishop should have been in this issue actually, so we could have got some tension between him and Deathbird. That would be cute and hot. They were good because
I
she
really
loves
wish
her
he
some him.
was taking over for Cable's spot in this book.
You know, I will not disagree with you there. I am always of the mind that any space that Cyclops or Cable occupies could easily be used for Bishop. But he also has his War College book coming up soon, so I'm going to take what I got
Mm.
and be happy with the lane that he is providing for himself now.
So yeah, I mean, I thought the issue was great. If they like
Did you
are
like the
basically
hints of
going
the
around.
Vulcan stuff? You like Vulcan?
I do like Vulcan. I mean, it was cool at the end of him popping up, you know, being like, "Hey, I'm going to be the king of Shi'ar again." Um, of the Shi'ar again, and even everyone kind of looking for Brand. They found this um like recording, I guess they had of her that she had seen the people who brought Vulcan back to life, and I really liked the data page showing all of Brand's like machinations and how she pretty much set all this stuff up. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
Brand's
yeah,
dope.
again, I liked this issue a lot. I just the Araco stuff was the one I didn't like.
All
They weren't
right.
even really that present in this. So like,
Just a mention of them just set you ablaze.
no, just like do more of this, I guess. Let's do more of this.
He
We
said
don't
he's
really
ready
need
for
to
that
be down there.
planet to
Like,
go. But okay,
they don't gotta
that's fine.
go.
They just don't
They
need
don't
to be
have
a
to-
part of things that you're reading.
Yeah, like let's fill these
That's
books with
fine.
next.
That is fine. What would you rate this issue?
I would give this issue a 4 out of 5, maybe even a
Agreed.
4.5 out of 5. I really had a great time. Like I said, I really like the Shi'ar. I really love all of the Shi'ar versus the Kree and Skrulls, and it looks like they're gonna be going up into another war again. You know, I'm always rooting for Operation Galactic Storm Part 2. Um, and that was the Kree versus Shi'ar, so that would be really cool to see. Um, the art was really great. Like I really
The
liked
art
the
was
art.
like hitting.
Yeah, it was really great. It's like, oh, he needs to be a mainstay over in the X office.
Like
Um,
everybody looked good. The action was hitting. The little part where Manifold was teleporting the team into the stuff, and they
mhm.
like were dealing with Orvis and like WizKid. Like, and I'm a big fan of like smaller teams too. So like this little 6-person group of them and like doing their little side quests, I'm into that. Like, give me a book about just this, the Brotherhood.
I don't need all of that for me, but I will continue seeing this because I need to see the downfall of Brand.
Queen
There's
Bee.
only room for one green-haired girl.
And it's gonna be Brand. But moving on, the next book on our list is Secret Invasion #1, and that's from Ryan North and Francesco Mobili. And Jodi Bellaire was doing colors, and shout out to her. You know, I really like her. Um,
Mhm.
I don't remember a lot about what happened in the original Secret Invasion, and I'm sure this is, as we were just talking about synergy, this is just something else that's going to tie into the upcoming Secret Invasion show. But
Yes.
I love this. This kind of like hit all my sweet spots and all the things that I really like, and had a bunch of characters in it that I really enjoyed. So basically, it starts out Nick Fury goes to meet some family, and they're like, "My husband is dead. We woke up this morning, he's dead in the bed." And they're like smiling and they're happy, and he's like, "Why aren't you more sad?" She tells him, "Because that's a scroll." And she starts saying like, "My husband's been acting different lately. He's been weird with the kids. It's not him. He's a scroll. Da da da. You need to find him for us, please." And so while this is going on, we also see Nick Fury showing up at a CIA headquarters. He's meeting with Maria Hill. And while he's talking to Maria about this family who came up to him,
Yeah, hey, they not doing Shield no more.
well, she got let go. All right, let's just keep walking. You know, so as that's going on, we see him talking to Maria, and he's telling her the story about this family. And so he's telling her, like, obviously he told the woman, you know, your husband's not a scroll because he didn't tell her that the husband's a scroll, not a scroll because they took return back to their form when they die. And he's telling her about how he said all the stuff to make her feel better and how they ate lunch together and he had a good time with the kids. While he's telling her this, we actually see what's happening, and we see Nick Fury in the place with this family who he realizes are actually the scrolls because he picks up a picture of them and they're wearing the exact same outfits in the picture that they have in front of him. And so once it kind of clicks on him, like, oh, these are the scrolls, they go to attack him, they knock him down, knock him out, and they take some of his sample. Maria Hill, being the super spy that she is, realizes while she's talking to this Fury, she says something that he doesn't catch up on, and she knows like automatically you're a scroll. So she calls in all her people, they lock him up. She puts out a call to all of her other like secret intelligence agent friends, and so we see this montage of like people at FBI headquarters, at Shield headquarters, at like other countries headquarters. Everyone's kidnapping or everyone's grabbing Nick Fury because the scrolls have taken him and they were trying to infiltrate all the secret organizations. Maria calls the Avengers, who are in the middle of a training session. Iron Man has built them their very own danger room, and she tells them, you know, we locked up Nick Fury. The scrolls are back. They're trying to take over. We got this one. And so they're like, do you think somebody's been infiltrated in our team? And she's like, no, not yet, because the way he was talking, it makes it seem like they were just starting to do this. So we think we nipped it in the bud, but I'm going to look into it. I'll keep you posted. The Avengers in their training session, we see from our POV, one of the Avengers going into a unisex restroom. And then when they look in the mirror, it's a scroll.
Oh.
So they have infiltrated the Avengers already. They've infiltrated some other teams, and that's the end of the issue. I thought it was really good. The action was hitting. I think Ryan North had a really good voice for both Maria Hill and Nick Fury and the scroll version. I think he did a good job. Like, again, if he just wouldn't have messed up on that one thing that Maria and Fury had planned, he probably would have got away with it. I wasn't expecting an Avenger to be a scroll again, so like that was cool to see, and I wonder if it'll play into like they've been in a scroll this entire time, or if it's something that just happened in the realm of this miniseries. Art was cool. I'd give it like a 3.8 out of 5. Solid. I'm definitely gonna stick to it. Cool stuff. And next up on the list is Poison Ivy #6, and that is from G. Willow Wilson and Marcio Takara does art. We also had a guest artist, Brian Level, who did a couple of pages. And this was kind of the cat of the story that Pamela Isley has been going through. She has been on this trip to release these spores that would basically kill everybody in the world and create an extinction level event. As she's been going through it, she's been meeting all of these people who have kind of been really making her deal with her humanity and how she wants to survive and all this stuff and the people she loves. And she's narrating all of this in this letter that she's writing to Harley, of course. So last issue, she ran into the Floronic man, who was like one of her nemesis or nemesi, whatever you might want to call it. And they're fighting, and he's forcing her to slit her own throat. As he's doing this, she's like having this hallucination about Batman, and he's like, "You need to, ground yourself and figure out how to do it." Da 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 da. And she's like, "I can't do it." Like he's just going like, This is how I'm about to die." He says something about how he's gonna go and kill Harley once this is done. Oh, it's over.
I know that's right.
He's like, "I'm gonna go find her." He's like, "I'm gonna rip her inside out just for fun." And she's like, "Oop, not that one." And like all of a sudden, her powers grow. She turns into Bigfoot. She's like, "The Batman who lives rent free in my head tells me to do this, and I do it." And she beats him down, and she instantly ends up eating him to like take some of her energy and like her powers. However, because he has like these death spores in her, it's like killing her and it's still making her weak. So she like tries to go off. She runs into this little person who offers her something because they think she's a monster, this little black kid. And when they touch, she like senses the green within him and like all of the energy of the people and the power and just like the connection of the earth and what it means and how they can be better and how she can save the day by doing other things and like planting and like making her time worth it on earth. And then she's healed and she's happy and she's like, "Wow, this is great." And she's like, "Thank you" to the kid. The kid's like, "You're not a monster. I thought you were a monster." And she's like, "No, I am, but this is one that's inside." And she walks off. We see at the end Harley is actually like physically reading the letter. She's crying because she's like telling Harley, she's like, "I do love you, and I can't be with you though because like you're with those Bat people, and like those aren't my people, and they're never going to be the people that I can be around. So it's like just know that I'm here, and like you don't got to come looking for me." But of course, Harley's like, "Girl, I'm on my way," and she gets up and leaves.
They gonna ride for each other.
They gonna ride for each other, and I kind of love it. I've done some Batman reading when I was doing my Ghostmaker stuff, and it had Harley content in there that I was kind of cool with. And then when I think about like some of the stuff she was with Catwoman, the Harley Ivy thing, I don't know. It's really been resonating with me lately. I also think the animated series has helped a lot because that relationship is really well done.
Yeah.
But I'm into it, and so like this was super cute. Really great stuff from Wilson. We find out that like something still might be going on, like with the Pharaonic man and the demon monster thing that was following her. With the issue ends there, and because the series did get extended, it is continuing on. But this was a really good first arc. I highly recommend it. I think it really did a really great job at showing Poison Ivy her nuances with like how she operates and how she's going to continue operating moving forward. She's always been. She even says it. She's like, "I always just kind of do this thing where I go after these like big companies who are harming the planet in some type of way, and then like that's it." She's like, "I'm doing very small like things here and there. I need to like think big. I need to change the way I act. I need to go about it." And so I'm interested. I'm a big Poison Ivy fan. This is like maybe even more so. The art was fantastic. Level was a great fill-in. Takara kills it. I'm here. Shout out to this.
All right, Poison Ivy.
Yeah. Pick it up, guys. And our final book of the week is Captain Marvel number 43, and that comes from Kelly Thompson and Sergio Davila. And take it away. I hear this is also kind of like X-Men adjacent, so the X-Men girlies got their food.
I mean, this was practically an X-Men book. Like it was. So this issue opens up. We see Binary in space. She's like locked up in some cage, and she's screaming. And so clearly she's gonna need help. Then we flash back to Earth, and Carol and War Machine are like snacking at her place. He wants to go on a hike. He says, like we're definitely gonna go on this hike. But of course, duty calls. She gets a message, and it is from Rogue. And in the message, Rogue is like, I don't know if you're gonna get this message, but you're the first person I thought of. Like, if this is coming after us, it's gonna be bad. If not, then I can handle it. And like, then the message goes out. So Carol decides to go straight to the treehouse in the X-Men in New York to go and get some help. So she flew over there, and of course, Spider-Woman really wanted to go because she had never seen the treehouse before, so she was kind of acting like a fangirl, which I thought was kind of cute. And Hazmat. they all come and they Cyclops shows up, walks them into the treehouse, and Carol is like, I got this weird message from Rogue. Like, do you guys know anything about it? And Cyclops is like, no, she took a jet and she's been gone away on her own, doing her
Yeah.
own things. Which, again, like, and while they're in the treehouse, Polaris and Wolverine, Laura are there, and that just makes me really feel like, I guess they're trying to say once you become an X-Men, like you are an X-Men now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like
Like how Rogue showed up in that one issue.
exactly. Which again makes me feel like Lorna could pop right back up again. So Dugan, if you're listening. But yeah, Carol goes around. She's saying hi to people that she hadn't talked to in a while, like Jean, and Gambit comes in and he's like, "Where is Rogue?" And they're like, we came here to ask you that. And he's like, we aren't the codependent types, which I feel like Kelly kind of wrote that in there for the Gambit fans who maybe feel like all he does is follow Rogue around.
Yeah.
And
Because he
I
definitely
thought
is the
that was
codependent type.
exactly. So I thought that was nice to know. So Carol explains like she got this message from her. Um, we're going to have to go out there and help. And Lorna hears this and she says, "All right, cool. Give me my coat. I gotta go help my girl." And
Okay.
they all get ready to go. Captain Marvel gets another message and it's a scream, but it's not from Rogue. She thinks it's from Binary. So she's like,
Mm.
I got two issues now. Like there's this Rogue thing and Binary. Like we need to go take care of this. Like if everybody's in, that's great. But if you guys have any telepaths you can spare, like who Jean, like, can you come and help me on this mission? And Jean is like, no, I got stuff I got to do here. But
No, she ain't doing
maybe
that.
maybe someone else can help you. And Psylocke comes and Carol's like, oh hi, like you and I have never met before. Um, but hi. And Quanon is like, don't worry about it. Like Jean gave me the information telepathically. We can already get ready to go on this mission. So they all get ready to go into space. They take one of the Thunderbirds out there, which I think was really fun. Um, Lorna kicking ass out there. They end up like they find this space station I'm sorry, not space station. They find this ship, which was Rogue ship, and they see it like just floating out there. So they want to go on board and see what's up. It turns out there's like a brood, but it's like
Yeah.
Rogue. I don't know how she got transformed into a brood. Because at one
Okay.
point they were all like on this ship, and all of a sudden all of them started feeling weakened, and obviously their powers are being absorbed. So, Rogue now has that area of effect with her powers. So
Mm.
somehow she got
Well,
changed
I
into a brood.
didn't know that because I don't really see Rogue use her powers too much.
They'll never let her do it. So, they barely even let her be a flying brick. They just let her fly the plane. But anyway,
And she was just doing.
Rogue ends up being a brood, so they are going to, I don't know, have to trap her, fix that or something. So
Okay.
that's what the issue is. It looks like this is gonna be a fun space issue with, Gambit, Wolverine, Polaris, all with Captain Marvel, Psylocke. They're all gonna be
Okay.
out there seeing
You
what's up
know,
with.
Carol's got history with the X side. I think that's always when she's at her best, when she's hanging out with that group. So shout out to her. I also, it's so interesting to like see the relationship of her and Rogue continue to grow and just
Mm.
kind of like, I don't ever really think they're gonna be like the best of friends, but it's like, okay, she in trouble. Like we got history. I'm gonna go help her.
Yeah,
Because she
I
could have
think that's
easily just like told
probably
the X
where.
Men, "I got this distress call. Y'all go save her."
Yeah, leave me out of it. Like y'all go help that girl. But no, like they do have a connected history, so it's like and she even mentions in this that back in this beginning of this, now this is issue 43. Back in the first arc, they got trapped on Roosevelt Island by the radioactive man, and he
Yeah.
used Rogue to get to Captain Marvel, and she thinks that maybe someone is using Rogue to get me out there. It's like it's a trap or something. So we'll see.
Uh,
Who knows?
oh, I don't like that for Rogue. I'll be
I
like,
know.
Don't use me for her story. Thank you.
Yeah, I really want to know what's going to happen between. I wonder if they're going to use binary or something to fix Rogue.
What do you mean? Oh, like from the broad form?
Yeah, like she has to sacrifice herself or something, and that fixes.
You have been really
Rogue.
trying to get binary out the paint.
It's only because like it doesn't, like she just popped up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a random character that Carol just like generated. So could she do that again the next time she's on a Phoenix planet?
No.
I don't know. But anyway, I would rate this issue a 3.5, 3.8 out
Okay.
of 5. It was really good. I really like the art. I really like the setup for everything. It's a fun space mission with Rogue and some of my other favorite characters, Polaris. So this is gonna be great. Fun little action
Okay.
thing. You know, even if you're an X-Men fan, you do see the people using their powers and being powerful in the book.
Great.
So and the art's great.
Okay. I'm into
Check it
it.
out. All right, so shifting over into the AR Club for the week, we watched episodes 2 and 3, Wolverine and the X-Men, and this was Hindsight Part 2 and Hindsight Part 3. The first episode was like more of Wolverine trying to get the gang back together. The X-Men have all been scattered since the first episode after like there was this big explosion. Xavier's lost, Jean is gone, and Beast and Wolverine get Shadowcat and Iceman to come back to the X-Men, but Cyclops, Colossus, and Rogue didn't want to come back. Rogue ends up like joining the Brotherhood, which is again this show kind of like touching on her Brotherhood era.
Yeah.
Which I guess is interesting. Again, I'm just not a fan of that damn hairstyle they gave her.
I was about to say that little ponytail just like shaking in the back.
It is not it. Like I don't really like that. But I mean I do think they gave her iconic costume, but I just do not like her hair in this. And again, she is down to just her only having her own powers, but they are not under control. So
I'm also I don't think I'm a fan of Rogue's 90s suit anymore.
Oh really? I love it.
I think I've moved past it. I think I'm just I'm good.
I like it as her like a little superhero uniform. I have a few of them that I like. I've also like really liked her Revolution costume. I thought that was hot for her. But I don't know. That jacket costume is hot. But yeah, they have Rogue going over with the Brotherhood of Mutants, and they are going to go plan to attack Senator Kelly. Senator Kelly wants to push like the Mutant Registration Act, and Angel's dad is like on his side. They've been like funding the mutant registration stuff, and it makes me really like realize that Angel, like, is his main story has always been to like he represents privilege, like like that's
pretty
kind of
rich
it.
guy. Well, it was that until they did like the Archangel thing, and then it became like the tortured soul, the demon, which I think he actually works as a villain. The whole Angel Apocalypse era during Uncanny X-Force, that was hot. But it like made sense. Like he's an evil white man.
Yes, I mean we'll be seeing a lot of that later. I think Angel is in this as a villain. In later episodes. So the X-Men end up coming and stopping the Brotherhood from like attacking Senator Kelly, but they all end up like looking like the bad guys, and they were all set up by, it looks like, Rogue. Part 3 happens, and that lady joins the show, Emma Frost. So right off the bat, she just shows up at their doorstep and was like, "Y'all need a telepath." So here I am.
The way you have like grown to hate Emma is so hilarious to me.
It's truly not a grown to. I've never really liked her. I've always just only liked her outfits. I liked her outfits.
Tolerated her. You were like, she was good for like a sassy comeback and like her outfit.
A comeback.
But I feel like now you don't even want that. You just don't want to see her at all.
No, I don't even see the value in that. No, she can get out of here. just or just nothing I want, nothing I'm interested in. But she ends up joining the team. They got Iceman trying to look like he's flirting with her, trying to look like he's straight. And Wolverine is super suspicious about her joining the team because she's like her Massachusetts Academy. He knows, he was like, you taught those kids over there to be bullies. I did think it was a cute moment when she said, like, I did have my Massachusetts Academy, and Kitty Pryde was like, oh, I never heard of it. Considering in the comics, I think Kitty was introduced, like Emma was trying to recruit her for the Massachusetts Academy.
Yeah. Because, she was trying to snatch a girl up. Like she did with Fire.
That's the only way they got to do.
Okay.
They're not going to do it on their own, so she has to force them.
You just said something interesting to me about Aquaman, Iceman, and how he was trying to flirt with Emma and all that stuff like that. I wonder if now the next few times we'll see Iceman in popular media, if they'll go ahead and let him be gay.
I think so. I hope so. I wonder if he's going to be in the X-Men 97 show. You think they'll do it there?
That would be cute. I don't know if
He was barely in the original, and I think he was only in like one episode, and it was about him. It was about Lorna leaving him to go be with Havoc because she knew he was gay.
Oh no, I think that's going to be interesting. The future of Iceman in popular media. I'm kind of excited to see that now.
I truly expect him to be gay in live action, but I think we'll see him in something else before his MCU debut, and I think they probably will start to kind of pivot towards the rainbow for him than anything else. So Wolverine has Emma Frost look up, they're trying to figure out where Xavier is. She finds out he's on Genosha. They go to Genosha, and they're like snooping all around Genosha, and it obviously is a trap because like no one's around. And Magneto ends up like clearing all of them, and they try to put up a good fight. It does not work. Magneto is like, what did y'all come here for? They said they just wanted to know if you had Xavier. He said all you had to do was ask, and he shows them Xavier is on his island, like he washed up on his shores. He's like in this catatonic state basically, and and I guess he like telepathically reached out to them and let everybody know, my mind is in the future. Like there's gonna be some crazy enemies coming. Y'all got to be together. And the X-Men try to get back together. Cyclops came back. I thought these episodes were pretty well done.
Like, move, baby. They know.
I thought these episodes were pretty well done, but I will say that like I'm so over like villain Magneto that it was so like jarring me back to see it, but like, oh yeah, I forgot that like him having a different view like makes him the villain in this stuff. And I prefer everybody
again
under the same umbrella.
It just really is making me think about like their future and like the MCU and the next few properties that we get. Because like you said, like I don't think if I see another cartoon, I don't want another villain Magneto.
No.
But it's
I want to see them all like, I don't want to see him as the villain. I want to see him have his own faction, sure, his own like, area. But
I think X-Men Evolution did a good job with that. Like having him kind of be an antagonist, but not the villain. At least, especially in later seasons.
Yeah, they didn't really fight him that much in that show.
Because they didn't even know who he was.
I don't know. I think in certain media we may not get villain Magneto, but I do think in live action
he will be.
We probably gonna get the Brotherhood and the villain. At least initially.
Yeah, I can see that. Let me prepare myself.
Although, I mean, again, though, the people who are now in charge of the MCU and like the people who are kind of making these executive decisions and are fans of the actual comics themselves have a lot of nostalgia for like 80s comics.
Yeah, that was a good time.
So like, and Magneto was a headmaster at that point. So like they could do something like that.
That would be fun to see, like Headmaster Magneto with some new mutants or something. I think that would be
Hmm.
cool. See, X-Men
And
Evolution tried to give us a little bit of that too. That was so
and-
ahead of its time.
yeah,
Talk about the show.
great show. Great show. Maybe we should rewatch that soon later. We'll add it to the list or something. But yeah, I thought these episodes were pretty fun. I still don't really like Rogue's design, but that is what it is. I guess it's just I'm gonna have to accept that for this. Um, sometimes her accent would come out during this, like her little southern accent would come out, and I didn't mind it that much. I don't know, it was okay.
We'll see how we keep going. I'm waiting for a very specific episode, personally.
Oh man, we will get to that one. I'm sure you'll have plenty to say.
Mm-hmm.
Her accent, her outfits.
Yeah. I got a couple thoughts.
We'll get to that. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and take a break, and then we'll come right back.
Cool.
We are back. Yes. And this week we are going to be doing, taking it back to a panel, I guess you want to call it. We haven't really ever figured out a name for this, but it's a character spotlight for Namor. We haven't been doing too many like relaunches for characters in a while. We've been watching a bunch of stuff. And with next week, we'll be watching Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So we decided to kind of pull over and talk about Namor. Now, before I start to like talk about his history and stuff, what are your like general thoughts on the character? Especially like you are big into like the water characters, Atlantis.
Yeah. I've never honestly jived with any of the characters from that book, or that like corner of the Marvel universe. I don't really think I like Marvel's Atlantis very much, and I have read things with Namor in him, and the type of character he is, one of those like very big, larger personalities, aggressive, kind of like I am the best, I am me characters don't really resonate with me all the time. And then I don't know too much about Namora, but when I did that rereading of New Warriors and I was introduced to Namorita, I didn't like her either. So I've tended to just kind of like stay away from it. It's just like Solo. If Namor shows up in something, okay, cool. But other than that, I haven't gotten too much into them.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, you haven't really gotten too much into it because I've learned that Atlantis like gets blown up a lot. So it's not really like around too often. And I don't think they've ever really like given Namor his own corner of Atlantis the same way like DC does with Aquaman.
And that's what I was about to say as well. You know, you think about DC's Atlantis. Yes, it gets attacked on occasion, of course, all nations do. But there's always been a very big emphasis on Arthur and the inner politics of Atlantis and like the people of it and how they operate, what they do, the world of it, and like building that out has always been a very big thing. And I've never felt that from Marvel and Namor. I know they're blue sometimes.
They are, yes. I think most of them are blue, except some of them that mutate, I think. But Namor was created kind of by himself. He was created by the writer-artist Bill Everett, who this was like 1939 when he was created. And this was, so prior to Marvel Comics was known as Timely Comics. And they put out a book called Marvel Comics #1, and that had the first issue, the first appearance of Namor. And he resonated with a lot of people back then because he was the first anti-hero in like superhero comics. He was very like aggressive, and he was, like I said, he was the anti-hero there, and people like kind of resonated with him at the time. So he became really, really popular. I guess he was also created kind of to be like the opposite of the original Human Torch, who was also popular at the time. And this is the Jim Hammond, the like android Human Torch, the original first Human Torch. Existed. So Bill Everett was like, I should make a water one. So that's where you got Namor from. and I know him and Torch and Namor have like their own big feud between each other. They've been on teams together called the Invaders, and that was Captain America and Namor and Human Torch. Now, after he was really popular, like in the 40s and 50s, he kind of like had his own book called The Submariner, which was doing really well back then. And then when superheroes weren't as popular, and they started to click down, his book ended up getting canceled. Although they did already introduce Namora, his cousin.
Yeah.
And that's the blue one. Her daughter is Namorita.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
I'm
did
not the
not know
biggest
that.
fan of her.
I thought they were all like cousins or something.
No, I think Namorita is Namora's daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's her daughter. So like, I don't really like her that much, but whatever.
Namorita was a nice girl. Like in those New Warrior movies, she was like always very mean, always very aggressive, always very just like her and Nova. Oh my gosh, together insufferable.
Very insufferable. Yeah, I didn't really like her at all in the New Warriors. I thought she was very annoying. And Nova, which has been weird seeing him get this like 180 from fans, specifically X-Men fans, because like I don't know, Nova like he was not very nice at all in the New Warriors book.
I still don't think he's nice. Remember when he showed up on at the Hellfire Gala and started fighting Magneto? Like he's
trying to punch him in the face. Yeah. Very not at all. But anyway, back to Namor. Like he, before his book ended up getting canceled, he did have his cousin Namora debut, and I think she herself was also really popular back then. So shout out to her for kind of breaking out. Yeah. And then he kind of was like in lulls, but here and there were some like legal issues where he couldn't have a book out, so they just kind of like put him in a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. Until they finally could kind of break free of those, and they finally could give him his own solo book and came back with Prince Namor, the Submariner.
Yeah.
He's got like most of his books are called the Submariner. I think that's kind of what his nickname is. He hasn't really had a whole lot of like solo books as much as he's just been in a lot of other things with people because again, he is a king of a nation. I think my favorite time with him was probably more recently during Avengers and New Avengers when Hickman was using him. I really enjoyed that.
So are you one of the people, do you prefer Namor as an Avenger or do you like him when he's with the X-Men?
Oh, you know, that's a good question. I feel like that's a shame we always got to pick sides. But
it is what it is.
But I truly think that I don't know. That's a good question because I really do like him as an Avenger, but I do like when he would pop up with the X-Men.
It's interesting because he was a nasty man because he's always nasty. But I feel like even so, his times with the X-Men, obviously the X-Men are about mutants. His times with the X-Men, he's not really necessarily there for like mutant preservation, mutant rights, or anything like that. It's mostly he's there for Emma, or why else is he
give somebody a favor.
Yeah, and so, but I do appreciate the dynamic that he brings because, again, he doesn't really care. So he's like,
he really does not. He don't give a shit. Like everything happening on the surface world, he does not care. He cares about his people, and that's it.
But I don't know. He needs to get punched in the face more.
Yeah. Black Panther did it.
Yeah, that's a history making feud right there, baby.
Yeah.
They did it. And I feel like obviously a lot of people are always on like Black Panther and Wakanda side because maybe Namor fans are a little bit more quiet, or maybe just because, like you said, there's not too much for people to be like, oh yeah, the Atlanteans got it. But shout out to the MCU because they turned the people around.
Yeah.
They are all ready for him to drown this place and do whatever he needs to do.
Yeah.
But I
I
get,
really do think that they should give him the MCU synergy shot and just really flesh out Atlantis with this like Tolokan aesthetic.
okay. I
Personally.
agree. It's hot. I appreciate it. I think, again, seeing them, the designs, very dope. I'm very excited to see the movie and him in the movie. I think they even make the ankle wings work. And the way that he
They
flies and it
do.
shows that he's like stepping, that's not really something that I've ever seen in Namor in the comics. He's just flying with his little ankle wings.
They made him work. So shout out to them for still including them and really leaning into the comic book stuff of it and still just giving him a green Speedo, you know?
Okay. We love that.
So yeah, his like comic book history and stuff, he's pretty much just been the king of Atlantis. He was with the Invaders for a bit, with the X-Men for a bit. Everybody knows about the tension between him and Sue Storm on the Fantastic Four, as well as his relations with Emma Frost. Um, I mean, for me, like Namor has just really just been around and been a badass. It's just being the kind of original anti-hero. He hasn't really kind of. I feel like maybe those characters are hard to give solo stuff to because that gets old unless you're around other people. You know, like they need to be on teams
I
in
think
order
if
to
you did
give
it with
that
him,
attitude.
I think if you did it with him, then you have to kind of go like the T'Challa route, and it has to be about him like leading and failing, or even Arthur, ruling this kingdom and what it's about and doing all of that. But that would take someone who needs to put the work into the Marvel Atlantis scope, and I just feel like that's not
Mm.
really something people are that interested in doing. It seems like I think it just seems he comes in, says I'm fighting for Atlantis, and we move on.
Imperious Rex. Do you think that they aren't pushing it because of they don't want to compete with Aquaman?
I mean, he could never, but I guess maybe.
I mean, that would make sense. I remember for a while they weren't pushing Wonder Man because of Wonder Woman. Like I think DC tried to sue them, and then when they came out with Power Girl, Marvel sued them, like because they had Power Man. It's a wild.
Tip for tat. You gotta see that's the type of big two drama I love. That's what we need more. That's what the
You
industry
like the
needs
map.
right now. That's what there's not enough of in my comics these days. Okay, drama.
Some big
But
drama.
I think with Namor. So let me ask you this: if they were to give Namor a book right now, that's not set in the future, what would you be
Yes.
interested
By the way,
in
he
seeing
does have a book out right now, y'all.
if you read it? What would you be interested in seeing him doing? Like if like looking at you as someone who's interested in Namor. Do you want to see him more in Atlantis? Do you want to see like a family aspect? Do you want to see him out doing I don't know. Does he have villains?
Yes, everybody. Originally, his companions because of circumstance were Magneto and Doctor Doom. Like those were his like friends, but they would always end up turning on each other because of somebody. That's a lot of attitude and a lot of ego. So
Yeah.
they'd always end up arguing with each other. So those are also kind of villains for him, as well as obviously Black Panther. Um, I
Oh, so he
forget the
really
other.
just do be fighting the heroes.
Yeah, he come and tussle them around. Atuma is another one that is a villain for him.
Yeah, I've seen the design for him in the movie. That looks good.
Tiger Shark, I think, is another one. So
No idea who that is.
I think he should get more fleshed out. I think within like Atlantis, that's I think the biggest thing for him. He needs an ongoing solo title that's truly just exploring him in Atlantis, just really establishing that as a corner that exists within the Marvel universe, and not just this place that like we know Namor is from, but like, do
I
people really
think
go there? Do people like what's up with that?
I don't know. I just think he's a team guy. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You don't think he's a solo character?
I think he is a solo character, but I don't think he has it to sustain it.
That's why you feel it with, the other people. His Aqua Girl, his Dolphin, all them people.
I mean, I feel like they tried some of that though. Remember when Loa was with him? Loa, the new X-Men.
Yes, little Shadow Cat.
She went over and she was his little sidekick appearing in his book. She was living in Atlanta. She had a pendant. She was breathing underwater.
She had a pendant. Who cares about her? I mean, like.
But that's his Aqua. But look at what you. That's his Aqua Girl. So you gotta care about her.
Okay. Well, then where is that? Why don't we have more of that? Where is that ongoing?
The people said what you said. They said, I don't care about
this. I think he's a solo character. I think that he could be pushed as his own thing. I think now since he's been around since 1939, that you do have to fill it with other characters. Yes, they've already tried with the Namoras, and the Namoritas, as you mentioned, with Loa. But like, I don't even know if they've even really had a lot of them all in one book together and like really showing like, the hierarchy of Atlantis and all that. It's not a lot of Atlantis there. So it's hard to really see him as a solo king with no kingdom.
But I also guess a big part of that also for me is like his personality. Like you said, the Magnetos, the Dooms, the Namors. Like, yes, they can have solo bouts, but they don't last for very long because that type of personality can't sustain on its own. You gotta have like them being pushed back against them, and that's when they go back into that like team aspect. But that's just me. I mean,
I think that's why he had the Invaders. He's got that team with them, and he's been on the Avengers. He's been on the X-Men. I think he should just also have a solo.
I kind of like him. I'm not gonna lie. I think I prefer my name more on the X-Men.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it fits better for him. I think the dynamics of characters he interacts with are a little bit more interesting and diverse. I feel like with the Avengers, a lot of times it's a lot of virtue signaling and just kind of like, we're the good guys and we got to do this and that the right way. Whereas the X-Men are willing to play a little bit more into his more morally gray aspects and personality traits. He interacts with the Xaviers and the Magnetos and the Emmas and the Cyclopses and all of that stuff like that. Whereas the Avengers, it's like, this is a team of heroes. You have to conduct yourself a certain way.
That's true. I do like his stuff with the X-Men. I do like him a lot with the Avengers, but the X-Men stuff is hot.
Unless you count the Illuminati Avengers era, which I feel like that was more so. I feel like that was more so only Avengers in name though. So how they acted, that was the Illuminati.
I think that's kind of what makes Namor great, though. He should be his own thing, but maybe just within the X universe. Maybe you tie that Atlantis with the X-Men and stuff like that. I don't know, but I do think that he should kind of always be his own boss and his own corner. But it is nice to see him with the X-Men.
I don't think he got it on his own. But when he got a crew, yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, I'm not gonna go too deep into his like old school history. Definitely check out some of his current books out now. He has Namor Conquered Shores out. It's a story about him 100 years in the future, and like I think most of Earth has been drowned out by water now. So check that out if you want more Namor. But that brings us to the end of the show. Please make sure you rate and subscribe us wherever you get your podcast. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Another Relaunch. You can watch us on YouTube at Another Relaunch TV. You can find me on most social media platforms at UncannyLZ. Keenan, where can they find you?
You guys know you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Keenan Lance. There is an underscore at the end. Maybe not, because Mr. Musk seems to be trying to drive the platform into the ground.
You're getting us all up out of here. So
okay. See, that's Warren. That's Warren Worthington III right there for you.
Exactly. And we see how that ended.
I'm just saying. All right. Bye, y'all.
All right, y'all. Let's get up out of here. Peace.